Y'all doing today? Look, I want to tell you something. When I was a kid, I remember one time I was sitting down watching cartoons, and I was eating my cereal, and this commercial came on, and it was advertising this product called Fruit Loops, and I looked at the commercial. I was like, wait a minute, that don't look. Now I thought I was eating Fruit Loops, so I was like, that don't look like my cereal. Have they copied my cereal? What's going on? So I kept on watching the commercial, and then next thing I know, another commercial came on for a guy by the name of Captain Crunch. I looked, I was like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. That looks like my cereal. Something's going on here. So when I went into our kitchen and looked in there, and I looked in that cabinet and I saw something called fruit rings. And I've never paid attention to it before. I mean, when I go shopping with my mother, I didn't pick out the cereal. She picked it out. It was on her. And then we had something else called, it wasn't Captain Crunch, it was Lieutenant Hunch. And he had a picture of a dude with a hunchback with a parrot, had a peg leg and a scar over his eye. I'm like, am I living in an alternate world and somebody has copied my favorite cereals? So I didn't know what was going on. So I went back to my cereal and I noticed that after it let it sit there for about 3 minutes, all the color of the fruit rings had came off of the cereal and was now around the side of the bowl. I'm thinking, this ain't right, this ain't. So I picked my spoon up and it was like a kaleidoscope. It just had, looked like a rainbow in the sky. And it just had all the colors on it around there. So I knew something wasn't right. So, you know what? The next few days, I decided to pay close attention to everything that was in our house. And I noticed on them cereal boxes, in the bottom it wasn't written in English. It was like Chinese writing. It didn't even have an FDA warning label on it or nothing like that. So as I was watching everything in the house, I noticed that you know, I don't know if y'all ever seen this before or not, but somehow we used to get this thing called a block of cheese. A block of cheese. Not cheese in the slices. It was a block of cheese. And this was the most dangerous cheese ever in the world. You could tell when somebody was cutting me because you would hear this. That's right. You had to cut it at least 4 times to get one square piece and you would put it together because you could cut at the top and it would always angle off and go to the side so it's thicker at the top. Thicker. You know this cheese was developed for one thing. It was developed so that people could make a grilled cheese sandwich. A grilled cheese sandwich with this cheese, you could start cooking your sandwich about 1 o'clock. And by 2 o'clock, then you could flip it over. It won't melt. It would not melt. I'm tell you something. Tell you something else. This cheese is probably when the world ends after the nuclear war. This cheese is so strong. I know there's only 3 things going to be living on this earth. That's going to remain on this earth. One is going to be the hawk. Number 2 is going to be roaches. And number 3 is going to be that government cheese sitting up in a government warehouse somewhere. This is the most thing. You wasn't even, as a child, you wasn't allowed to cut that cheese. You know why? Look, this is what you had to use. A knife this big just to cut you some cheese. It ought to be a law against that. So I used to always have to tell my father, hey, I want to get me a cheese, a cheese sandwich or something like that. Now, uh, um, another thing we used to have, I forgot about this, powdered milk. What the heck is powdered milk? Where do you get powdered milk from? An old dried up cow? Because where else you gonna get it? It comes out wet, and then what do? Make it in a powder, and then what do you do to get it back to a liquid? You put water in it, so it becomes liquid milk. Why don't you just skip the powder development part and just keep it straight as liquid milk? I don't understand powdered milk. And you know what powdered milk tastes like when it's mixed with water? Water. That's all. There's no byproduct. There's nothing else you can do there. You can't drink that stuff down. Now, one day my mother had me, I ate my cereal. I ain't say nothing. Then she gave me a grilled cheese sandwich. I knew it would take 3 days for that stuff to dissolve in my belly. So I made the hard choice. I said, you know what? I can't live like this anymore. So I packed up my little bag and I ran away down to my cousin's house. Didn't tell my mama, So, and when I was talking to my cousin and I told him what would happen. And he said, well, man, I looked. And so we looked in his cabinet and they had tons of it, tons of this stuff. and it was all in black and white. And I was like, wait a minute, your stuff look worse than my stuff. How could that be? Something's going on here. I was very, very suspicious. You know, they say sometimes the grass look greener on the other side. But I decided, maybe I better get back home. So I got back home to my mom's house before she even knew I was gone. This whole thing is like a light nightmare. I must be in the twilight zone. So I don't know where to run. I'm confused at how they accumulated all this stuff. But I got a sneaking suspicion of where they got this stuff from. That evening, as I thought about what to eat, I decided maybe it's not so bad here. Let me eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. No milk, just water to wash it down. After all, what's the difference? Oh, and for those of y'all that choose not to believe, bam, look at that. What is that called? Toasted oats, apple bits, sugar flakes, fruit rings, and cocoa balls. I'm not even going to get into that. Hey, y'all have a wonderful day.